I'll give it Terry a big hug here.
I mean, we know there are several provisions in this bill.
Ladies, if you, 1 second, we got to make sure we answer their questions so we get a nice story. Terry, please come on back over here because there will be some legislative technical issues maybe. Yes, Bill?
We know there are a lot of different provisions in this bill, but is there something that really strikes you as being especially effective or that really stands out, something in this bill?
Well, the ability to have some definite rules, both on the way in which these clinics operate and also the ability to limit, in my opinion, limit the ability of people to overprescribe. The coordination of pharmacies, that's another critical one. I'd say those, I think those three are big ones. Dave, your view?
I think probably one of the more important things in the bill is the fact that we protect patients in chronic pain. And we take the needles out of the haystack, the rogue prescribers who are tarnishing the profession of medicine. We take those out who are deceiving doctors and deceiving pharmacies, and give care back where care is needed by those who we can entrust. So we don't degrade health care, we empower health care providers. At the same time, we're saving lives from drug abuse and improving those in pain.
Now, do we understand right?
Let me also give you, Bill, we have given now a whole set of tools to the medical board and the pharmacy board. The medical board moved to suspend the license of a physician that they felt had abused his privilege. It didn't happen overnight. These boards are important in Ohio, but they have to act. And they now have the tools. And we're going to be watching, aren't we, guys? Aren't we, lady? We're going to be watching to make sure that they carry out their responsibilities. And they frankly need to be more aggressive. They need to be more aggressive.
And you didn't think that the medical board was going to be singing on the same sheet of music. I mean, you said very strongly which one. And do you feel that way now?
There's a great man that once said, trust but verify. We're going to watch him. We're not going to let this fail because we are not making the tough decisions. And frankly, the practice of medicine, being a pharmacist, these are privileged. These are privileged occupations. I mean, there's nothing, between police and fire and soldiers and doctors. I mean, this is as great as it gets, and they need to protect their profession, and they want to protect their profession. So we need to make sure that if we all work together on this, the power that's been entrusted to the boards will be used effectively. So we'll see.
So, Governor, was it election day when you realized that this was
No, I actually had been traveling around in southern Ohio and heard it consistently through the campaign. And I just said I'm going to go down to Scioto County because that's where I heard it the most. And Jimmy was there, and Danny Bupp was there.
In December.
I think that was it December or November?
December. It was right after the election.
And I think it was like real soon after the election. And then we had a couple visits down there. I can't remember everything. I had trouble remembering what the date was today. But these ladies were compelling. But you have to also, I mean, there's a judge down there that had to lock up his own kid. You know, the sheriff, where was the sheriff from Adams County who brought the pictures? I can't remember. Yeah, I mean, he brought these pictures in and he said, you look at these pictures. And they spoke 1,000 words. So, look, and Terry's, this is his thing. Burke has been working on this forever. Just couldn't get anywhere. Nothing was happening. It was just a chat, another study, another this. And so, I mean, and Jimmy was important in the Senate. You could see Wachtmann's emotional about this. And we told the cabinet early on, I don't want to wait. That's how we move forward with BWC. I said, I want to see something, and we got it. And the cabinet, I mean, fantastic. Colonel Charles, Steve Buehrer is phenomenal in this whole thing. So it was a series of things, Joe.
Do you fault the previous administration for a lack of action?
That would be such a silly thing to comment on, frankly. It's just, it is where we are now, and I'm very glad that we drew down the money. I'll tell you that story. Orman and Betty says, you know, we got this potential to get this 33 million if we can get the Adams boards to act. I said, well, how long is that going to take? Well, it might take, I don't know, 3 weeks or a month. I said, 3 weeks or a month? They'll cut all that funding out down there in Washington. Yeah, right. So I guess it was that day. I called the lady who runs the Adams board. Is she here? She was fantastic. We then had a conference call like a day or two later because the Adams boards had to get the money so we could match. And we were prepared to match through Orman's office and through RSC. And then we drew down that money, $33 million. Never had it before. Fantastic. So it's all everybody plugging together. Everybody's passionate about this. I just happen to be the orchestra leader, but they're playing the beautiful music. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Could somebody describe the various drug seizures that are displayed back here?
Yeah, who would like to take a second here? Come on, don't be shy. Come on up here. Lieutenant, Sergeant? Sure. I didn't hear the question. He wants to know, what is all this? This is all stuff, seizures and everything else. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit, not just on the opiate problem, but the overall problem as we talked about it in the other room.
Could we have your name, please?
Yes, Major Paul Pride.
If you could identify exactly some of the drugs that are back here.
Some of the drugs out here, most of the green colored pills here, those are ecstasy. And then on the other side there, to the left side of the table, there's a number of different types of medications there. Oxycontin, Opanas, the list goes on and on. So there's a multitude of drugs there. Right behind these ladies here, you see some envelopes. Those are cocaine. The dark ones are, most of the dark colored ones are heroin. There's some black tar heroin. There's just a multitude of different types of drugs in there. These are all seized by our officers out of drug interdiction stops, traffic stops that have resulted in the seizure of all these things. Right behind here, this is the crime lab that runs 2 or 3 different rooms deep here where we analyze some of the drugs. We've also got a weapons cache back there. Most of the stuff that you see right here inside the door is destined to be destroyed. It's already been through the court system, and the process now is to destroy that stuff. But it all comes from traffic stops, drug interdiction that we're working every single day, every single trooper, every road, every county, all day long.
So the drugs on the table, those are from stops, not from clinics?
No, those are not from clinics. Those are all from traffic stops. Everything we've got is from traffic stops.
From there and on the table as well?
Everything.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And, you know, and the thing is, you cannot miss out on the story of our highway patrol. Now, we had a problem with the patrol, and it has been fixed. The credit goes to Colonel Bourne. The credit goes to Colonel Charles. The morale in this patrol is sky high. These are the most professional people you can find in law enforcement. They're just pros. They are fantastic people. And now that they're back and they're confident and they're sure of their mission, it gives them the ability to get out there and do these things aggressively when it comes to interdiction. And Major, thank you for your leadership, and it's making a huge difference for us.
Governor, one quick question. We've seen in Southern Ohio over the last couple months an incredible surge of activity by the DEA and FBI. I mean, last year you talked to the Scioto County Sheriff and Chief Horner, said, where are they? We need them. And it looks like the cavalry has charged in. It just so happens that it's been the same past couple months that you started this initiative. And I talked to Betty Montgomery about this when we were down in Southern Ohio, and she said she was going to be on the phone and lighting a fire. And are they now a big part of the team?
Why don't we let both let Betty and Steve and Orman just comment on that briefly. Let Betty comment. She's a law enforcement person.
I want to say that there has been a combination of the law enforcement between highway patrol, local officers, and sheriffs certainly, and the Attorney General's office all collaborating. And quite frankly, I have to be honest with you, I think that the major publicity, the push, the prioritization by this governor and the press coverage has elevated the story that's been percolating out there for 10 years. And as a result, working collaboratively with, particularly in the law enforcement area, these law enforcement folks have been constantly in contact with the DEA, as all of us have been, to get. And they know it's a priority for the state. And I think that, frankly, helped move it.
Yeah, I mean, we did it. There was a big A&E special where they came in, and I haven't seen the thing, but they came in and talked about Ohio. You know, the meeting with the governor of Kentucky, that raises the issue. There's been a lot of stuff said, but the national media, you know, the Associated Press did a nationwide story. It was like left side of the county and had time to call them. It made a difference. I got to tell you though, Mike DeWine's office, but a special amount of credit goes to Steve Buehrer. I mean, Steve is a guy that went down there. See, we sat on this for a couple weeks. I mean, as we were working, because we believed that there was evidence. He believed there was evidence. I said, I want something done in a week, and he came back and said, we've got something, but John, let me build the case. And then finally, when the case was built, it was an effective move. And fortunately, the medical board then moved, and we got the license suspended. And I think all that gives confidence to other law enforcement to engage. But we're thrilled to hear that kind of report. We don't always get that. That shows you that it's working. Any other questions on the bill?
Governor, you've put teeth now in the medical board and the pharmacy board after the fact. What message are you sending to overprescribers before they overprescribe?
If you overprescribe, we're going to come get you. This is about our children. It's about our mothers and fathers. It's really about Ohio's families. Again, you know, 99.9% of physicians, I mean, they're just incredible people, and pharmacists for that matter. I mean, if my physician told me to go sleep on the roof tonight, I'd probably do it. But I play golf with him, so I'd have to take that into account. But to be honest with you, Carol, I mean, these doctors are fantastic people, but some of them are abusing their profession just like anything else. And it is critical that that medical board preserve the integrity of the profession. So really the message is, if you're out there breaking the law, you may get away with it for a while, but these professionals, they're going to come get you. And I think just the fact that people are having their licenses suspended and everything else, it's getting, I mean, you just heard it, it's just making a difference. It makes people more cautious in the way in which they practice. And we're not after somebody that, you know, is prescribing, maybe they prescribe too much. That's not the point. We know they can pretty well determine what criminal intent is. That's why we've got the Attorney General involved. They can decipher this. And we certainly don't want to disrupt the practice of medicine. That would be just ridiculous to do. But I think this is a good balance. And there's representatives here of the OSMA and the pharmacy community, and we're going to get there.
One more question.
That it? Okay.
Governor, why was this such an important issue to you personally? I mean, you were in the House when it passed. This is obviously something that you wanted to see happen.
Look at these kids. I mean, I got a chance to do something good for families. I mean, this is a gimme. I mean, this is these children. I mean, you got to love our children, and they're the ones that pay the highest price. So this is no great. You know, this is what you do, right? This is just what you do. It's not about me. It's these folks, and thank you all very much. And I'll be